y'all, it's been a while. So car's finally on the ground. I hadn't driven it since the last video I'd posted because I actually discovered an issue during that video and I didn't want to do any damage. I decided to start working on the problem. And what it was, when I got these new tires, even though they're the same specs of the previous tire, they're bigger and they're stickier. And what was happening, so I have about an inch of travel here before they were making contact with the inside of the fender. And I didn't want to risk doing any damage to the tire. It was starting to eat the new paint that was inside the fender. I didn't want to strip any more of that. So I decided to put a smaller spacer. And I had done some research. First thing I had to do, part of what made this take so long, is I had to get the old spacers off. And I wanted to get them off and preserve them without damaging them so I could sell them and get some money back towards some other stuff. And what happened is 4 out of 5 of the nuts on one side had rounded off. And I tried many things. I got a special tool for extracting nuts. I've hammered on sockets. I used impacts. Tried everything, and all I did is just eat metal smaller and smaller. Till what I eventually had to do is I had to go in there with a hand drill and drill out 4 of those studs. So that happened. After I did that, I was able to take some measurements and figure out exactly how small I need to go. And I'm using Adaptec. I already had one of their adapters that converts from 5/100 to 5/114, but it was 25 millimeter like my H&R spacers. It was a good product. I knew what I was going to need, and I talked to them, and 18 millimeter is the smallest they believe was safe and with proper clearance. So it was one problem after another. I needed new studs. Alan Wood, one of the other on-track owners, he helped me get some studs for the rear. Then I ordered the spacer. They told me a week turnaround. It turned into a month. I ended up calling them a week, a little over a week and a half before the first autocross. I told them the situation. They're like, we'll see what we can do. And of course they missed the deadline. I missed the first autocross. So that already stinks that happened, but I'm going to try to make the next one for sure, which isn't until next month. So I had this whole month to get things together. So I get this new studs in there. I get the spacers on, and one of them had a screwed up stud. Instead of being corkscrew, it was just rings, which didn't make any sense. So they had to send me a new stud, replace that, get that installed, put the wheels on, and find out my lug nuts are too short. They're closed end, so they didn't fit. Had to order some lug nuts. So it was one thing after another. Between that, being busy with the new kid, and just having such little time to get out here, and then having one problem after another, finally have the car on the road. So I'm trying to fine tune everything and get it all kind of where I want it. I got these Muteki open-ended lug nuts, and they're steel, which is what I want. I want the aluminum ones. The problem with these typically is the paint chips off really bad. And I got in purple because 1, it was the cheapest, and 2, I'm going to strip them anyway. The ones I had before were Mutekis, and they were black, but they chipped so bad, I just dumped them in a little bit of acetone. All the paint fell off. So I'm going to do the same thing with these. So they'll be chrome. I already looked underneath them after the first installation, and the purple's already off and they're chrome underneath. So that's the plan with those. On the front, I actually had a clearance issue as well. And what was happening on full lock, which is not super common to do, but it was still an issue. The tire being a little bit thicker was catching on the inner wall. And I wanted to resolve that, so I used these little washers here. And these washers, about 2 millimeters, to kind of measure how much I needed. And it looks like 2 millimeters was right at the clearance. So I got a set of 3 millimeter spacers I'm going to put on the front. And that should take care of all my clearance issues that I've developed. We'll see how it might affect the car's handling. I don't expect a lot of change, but really once I go to the next autocross, that'll be where I'll see how my clearance really is, because I'll push everything to its limits there, get full compression, and see how that works. So, like I said, things have been really busy. It's been hectic. I'm hoping to start doing a little bit more videos. I've got another project coming up with some gauges. And a few other things, and of course, now the car's on the road, it's time to start autocrossing, start driving. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next time.